Hello humans, this is Random Visage and welcome to my channel. Today we're going to be continue playing Medieval Fantasies Rogue's Choice Chapter 2, Chapter 1, Part 2. Last time we went to the city, played some games, bought some people some wine and ale and stuff like that, drank a little bit and got some money. Now we have 13 gold left. No life lost, no cheating, no nothing. We were talking to some dwarves who were giving us tips on how to survive in this city, and they said that humans are reckless and they're short-lived creatures and they do reckless shit just for some coin. And our characters like, okay, there even dwarves are very pinch purse, and they also do reckless stuff for coins. But so now we have the option of whether we want to call them out on it, or do we want to let it slide. I want to let it slide because I don't want to get on the bad side. Let's let it slide. Morale increase 1. My point to all this, says Thalma, taking a sip of ale. If you can find 3 creatures in the city who will not kill you, call that 3 your family and be done with it. Or even 1, says Rum. Good enough for you. Right, you say, ignoring Rum. Do not trust easily, and what else would you have me know about the city? Thalma sets down his drink. He leans down and turns, his braided beard sweeping from the bar to his knee. It's that long? He looks you in the eye, lowers his voice to barely a whisper. Death is coming. There has been some disturbance among the gods. The priests of the city are not saying anything, mind you, but there are rumors of a god falling. Trouble among the gods is trouble for all, says Ram, his voice now low like Thalma's. The destruction of a god, Thalmar continues, shaking his head ominously. That has not happened in recent memory, but our elders do have story from ancient times. Hold on now, hold on. Destruction of a god, you say? So Nerul did die when we attacked her. I thought Nerul was like preparing some massive spell, because it said that when we were leaving that place, Nerul was glowing in like a green light. Um, and then I thought like, okay, maybe she's about to unleash some super powerful spell that will protect her and kill all these souls that are coming to kill her, but apparently not. The souls did get her and she died apparently. Was she considered a god? I mean, she was considered a very powerful demon, but I don't know if she was considered a god or not, but whatever. Okay, watch yourself, Saram. Have a place you can hide. Keep some food. Keep some food. Something that will not spoil. You may have to run. You look at Rum in surprise. It's the first time he hasn't mocked or taunted you. My brother and I plan to be deep underground when the trouble begins. The city, says Thalma. The city burned once. The wheel may turn again. Okay, so it is definitely referencing to our fucking adventure with Narissa and all the other demons. That, yeah, so Nerul is indeed dead and we did kill her. Let's see. Do we return again? You nod at Thalmar. Your brother says to get some salted meat and a hole to burrow in. I hope you have more advice than that. Your brother says to get some more salted meat and a hole to burrow in. I hope you have more advice than that. Thalmar leans in closer. I do, he whispers. He's probably going to ask for more meat or something. You bend towards him, your heads nearly touching. He takes a breath and raises his voice. For God's sake, grow a beard if you can, boy. Make yourself the illusion of a man. Make yourself the illusion of a man, because this city has no pity on children. Ha! Rum slaps the bar. Keeps your chin warm in winter too. You let out a puff of air and straighten up. Thalmor appends his mug. Ale spills down his beard braid. He laughs silently for a moment and then says, my drink is gone. A pleasure talking to you. But truth be told, I can only stand a minute or two with a human before I get to feel drowsy. Talking to us takes it right out of us. Talking to you takes it right out of us, says Rum. Makes me want to nap. For a human, you're not so bad though, says Thalma. Every day we meet worse, says Rum. As though on the cue of some silent signals, the 2 dwarfs turn to you, bow their head, they then turn back to the bar. So, some very, egotistical creatures these people are, and they tend to be a little bit racist or speciesist, but not really too much, because, consider they are bowing their heads as a sign of respect. Maybe even a traditional thing, but, a racist person wouldn't do that until unless it's like necessary or for some reason. No, that's not really an issue. Let's see. Well, that is that, you think. I have made friends with dwarves. Well met, you say as you swing off the stool. Dwarves do not respond. Perhaps not friends exactly, you think. Nevertheless, this encounter will be something you remember, you're sure. You catch the eye of one of the young women who have been seated since you came in. The red head refocuses on the woman across from her. But you figure there's no harm in being friendly on your first day in town, probably. How do you approach them? Of course, you can just introduce yourself, but they're in the middle of a conversation, and you need something to interject with. You could make up an excuse based on the fact that you're new in the city. Maybe they know a good butcher. Now, that's not the sort of question for a pair of richly dressed and bejeweled women. A recommendation for a good theater? You have snuck into a few plays in your younger years and found them enjoyable. Alternatively, you could pay one of them a compliment. Hmm. Oh, by the way, I do remember that one of the dwarves said that they do like a compliment or two, so I'm gonna pay a compliment instead. A few opinions come to mind for a compliment. Both women are pretty, but you do not wish to give a generic compliment. Better to focus on one thing. The redhead has a lovely voice that carries through the room and is like music. The brunette has a dazzling blue dress. She probably paid a fortune for it. I'm gonna get the bad side of one of them. Let's compliment the redhead. Sov, what a smooth operator you are. Um, the women are seated at a table on a raised platform, perhaps normally used as a stage for musicians. Although you are normally comfortable speaking to women, you can't help but feel a twinge of intimidation as you approach them from below. Okay, so it is a step by step higher bar. That is interesting. That is a good scene. Uh, which one of them looks better though? The one in the blue looks like she was incredibly fat at some point and then reduced her weight, and it's just like some of the fat is left on her face or something. It looks really weird. But it's a good pick, and I got a thumbnail, so that's good. Apologies for intruding, my ladies. You say as you step up onto the platform. You now have both of their attention, but you have a voice that is pure music. You nod towards the redhead and widen your eyes to show your wonder. A huge smile lightens up her face. I can only imagine what it's like when you sing. You continue. You could stop a charging gorgon with a voice like that. Thank you, kind sir, she says, her beautiful voice rising into an ecstatic squeak. The brunette is scowling, but she quickly adopts a forced smile as her companion looks over at her. You don't want the brunette against you, so you quickly say, and you, the dress is a wonder. You obviously have an eye for beauty. The corners of her fake smile hitch up slightly. Look at you, stranger, she says, not mollified enough, breathing flattery like a dragon breathes fire. Redhead clears her throat. Yes, she says, clearly projecting her voice. What business brings you to Middle City? Middle ring, or Middle Ring? In the three rings in the fucking Ring City. By the way, did the creator of this fucking show, because Ring City, this was never talked about in Ring City last time, because the last time we were in Ring City in the fucking medieval, the fucking Wizard's Choice, um, the thing there was that we never discussed any hierarchy or anything. We just discussed that there's a marketplace, there's an inn, there's a few other places you can go where people live, and then there's a fucking, what is that called, the outer wall. We discussed about that, and yeah, that was pretty much it. Where else did we go? Yeah, of course, the abandoned temple where Neryl's priest remained. So yeah, there was that as well. So we never truly, I think we were in the outer ring then, because we never truly discussed where we were, but the way the setting was described by the main character of that one, the magician. So I think we were in the outer ring city, and now we're in the inner middle ring city. I was hoping to find some entertainment. In truth, I would enjoy a good play, and you look like the sort who would be able to tell me where I might find a theater in this fine city. You pause, then add. Pause and then add. I only spoke the truth about your impressions upon me. I only spoke the truth about your impressions upon me. I hope I did not offend. And whosoever wrote this is smooth as fuck, like fucking hell. The redhead smiles and waves a hand. There are two theaters in the middle city, Bard's Tale and Dog's Snout. If you like the classic, then Bard's Tale. If you want comedy, well, then you have the other. What's your favorite play, stranger? Asked the Brunette, with a easier smile. You could be honest and tell her that you do not have one yet, but wish to. Another option would be to lie. You have heard that there's a new play out called Drala's Vengeance that is gathering critical acclaim throughout the kingdom. The women might be impressed by a man of culture. Hmm. Drala's Vengeance. But you have only heard of it. You have heard that there's a new play. I don't think it's a good idea because if they have watched it, they're gonna be like, "Oh, tell us about it." And I was like, "Fuck, I have not watched it at all." And Drala is the witch, the really strong sorceress with the multiple eyes all across her body that lived in a floating tower in Wizard's Choice. So apparently, Drala's getting vengeance on someone. Oh, maybe. Somehow the information about her daughter got out. Remember, she had a daughter which we threatened for little bit. But yeah, she had a daughter, and apparently maybe the information got out somehow, and then she got murdered. So she's on a vengeance quest to find whosoever murdered her daughter. That's just me making up shit. The woman might be impressed by a man of culture. Let's be honest. I don't want to fuck myself up. I have not a favorite. I have not a favorite yet, but I look forward to selecting one. Realizing inexperience makes you appear naive and trustworthy. You take a deep breath and add, I've not been to many plays. The giant and the wolf and a dragon squeezes the. Which one is the and normal? Oh, they're slanted. The giant and the wolf, that's a separate one. And a dragon squeezes the bellows are all I have seen. Those are children's plays. The brunette smarts. The redhead gives her a quick glare. You smile humbly. They were a joy to me at the time. The redhead smiles indulgently. As did I when I was a little girl. I particularly enjoyed A Dragon Squeezes the Bellows. Yes, you exclaim. Then you laugh. As I remember it, the dragon flew around accidentally poisoning the farmer's cattle by releasing. I'd forgotten, she interrupts, covering her suddenly crimson face with embarrassment. Oh, because by releasing what? Maybe he farted on the fucking cattle or something. I don't fucking know. I'd forgotten, she interrupts, covering her suddenly crimson face with embarrassment. You chuckle. Oh, but the effects, she says, between her fingers, her voice still as clear as the silver bell. Did they use real magic in your production? No, just wires and sulfur. You say in sudden disappointment. You never considered that you haven't even seen a dragon squeezes the billow at its best. The brunette chimes in then. We didn't mention that the outer ring of the city has a theater, the final song. The redhead removes her hand from her face and straightens in her chair, giving her companion a scowl. She says sharply, "Of course, we do not recommend it. Don't go anywhere in the outer city unless you want to be robbed and beaten, especially in the evenings." "Of course," says the brunette. "I was just trying to think of all the theaters. There's also Highmark in the inner city." The redhead frowns at her friend again. "Never mind that one," she instructs you, but she seems disinclined to elaborate. "Ruffians there too?" You ask. "No." Her cheek reddened again. It's only for. She is right. The brunette says, "You're probably not their sort." Then you explain what the dwarves explain about the inner city and realize that she is belittling your social standing. It appears the redhead in the happy drunk is the happy drunk and the brunette is the mean drunk. You could say something to that effect, or you could keep quiet. Mm, yeah, I don't think that's a good idea, commenting on someone's drunk state. Let it slide. Well, perhaps I should leave you both to your conversation, you says. Motioning to leave. No, stay a moment, says the redhead, putting up her hand. All right. I am Rohesia, and this is Katrine, twirling one finger in her fiery red hair. She asks, "And you are?" They call me Dragon. You lie. Dragon. Rohesia repeats with a faint smile. Well met. Well met. Chimes in Katrine half-heartedly. "It was kind what you did for Emmeline," says Rohesia. "Who?" "The serving wench, Emmeline," says Rohesia. "Oh, yes, of course," you reply. "A little boy went under the wheel of a carriage a fortnight ago," says Rohesia. "The coin will go to the healer, certainly," says Cartain. "By their dress and jewelry, you would estimate these women have plenty of their own. You wonder how much they have given to Emmeline. You decide it would be unwise to ask. You wonder whether you might be able to lift a trinket or two from these well-bred young ladies. From their manner, you'd say they are conveniently dulled by the drink. You scan the other patrons and more importantly, the inn staff. No one is paying you any mind at the moment. Hmm. Now here's the thing, it's just that the rogue's choice is just not for me. I'm just not, the type to choose the steal option at any given point unless I'm absolutely sure there's going to be no problem. But I feel like it would be a bad idea to try to pickpocket them because their backing is some strong people. So do not steal from them. Information is valuable to you. Do you ladies mind if I sit for a moment and ask you about your fair city? You ask. Attain motions to a chair. Sit, but not too close. We are married women, and no city is too large for gossip. And you are more handsome than most, says Rahasia with a sweet smile that makes your heart beat faster. You smile big and bow. Katrine gives Rahasia a hard look. Sorry, turning a shade of red. Rahasia stares down at the table. There are words you say and words you keep, she mutters this to herself, as if she is very familiar with the admonishment. For her, wine muddles them together, said Cartain, shaking her head. What do you do? Yeah, I shouldn't. I will take the dwarf's advice and not flirt. Wine does the same for me, you say, mustering your most kind voice and a polite smile. What shall we tell you of our city? Says Rohatia. A pat to some coin would be a start, you say. The mining guild is the largest employer, says Rohatia. You clear your throat, an easy and rapid pat to coin. She laughs, and then seeing that you're serious, thinks for a moment. If you can swing a sword, joins the Duke's men. They're always skimming and bullying the outer city. The authorities there are little better than a thieves' guild, whispers Rohatia. My husband, he supplies the farmers in the area and manure, says Katrine, laughing. Her man supplies horse manure scooped from the city streets. He does not scoop it himself, says Rohatia, looking pointedly at her companion. His guild provides a service to the city while increasing the harvest of local farmers. Gets paid by both the Duke's treasury and the farmers, says Katrine with a laugh. Who knew what came out of the end of a horse could be so profitable? Rohatia's lowers a voice to a whisper. We pay a tax to the city guard for protection. She makes a sour face. Katrine sighs. And protection you get, not just from Duke's men, but from any other guild who wants into manure business. Remember the Sweepers Guild? More than one of them got their skulls cracked when... Point is that the only real law here is the edge of a sword, says Rohatia, interrupting Katrine. If you wish to do business, make the right friends, says Katrine. True, here and everywhere else, you say. The trick is to make the coin to make the friends in the first place. The trick is to make the coin to make the friends in the first place. Well, you can talk to her, says Katrine, tilting her head towards the lone, cloaked woman across the inn. She fancies herself a sorcerer or some such. I've heard she is looking to form a party to risk life for loot. She wants to go into the... Rohatia hunches down over the table and whispers, sewers. She makes a face to hunt whatever monsters are down there. A party was formed a moon ago. One of the Duke's men and several desperate rabble, says Katrine. A young farmer with a pitchfork was the only one to make it out alive. A pitchfork, you say? You ask. Said it gave the reach he needed to keep the vermin at bay. She shrugs. In any case, that doomed expedition did not encourage any more adventurers except for her. It's no wonder, says Rohatia, hunching even further down over the table. You know what is said about her? The Rohatia do not. That she raised the dead. Whispers Rohatia. Gods, you mutter, like a zombie? Her cat, says Rohatia, her eyes wide. Her cat? You say, blinking. Do you jest? To raise an animal, even a beloved pet, is illegal, says Katrine. Necromancy, she adds in a whisper. So she's a necromancer. That is good. That is useful. So why is she not in the dungeon? I mean, if she parties with us, then it's useful. Other than that, it's a bad trade. So why is she not in the dungeon or her head? Because it is only a rumor, says Katrine, cutting you off. She shakes her head at her friend. There are words you say and words you keep. Rohatia smiles sheepishly at her friend. The three of you are huddled together at the table. As though just noticing this, Katrine sits back in her chairs and motions to the serving bench to a pair of coins in a finger. Dragon, my friend, and I have enjoyed a talk with you. It is time for you to leave. Rohishya smiled sadly. Seem It will not do to be seen cavorting with strangers. Okay. People talk, you say easily, and give them a wink. You get to your feet, take a final bow, hurry over toward the table of the sorceress. If the sorceress is connected to the local guard, then she may know a thing or two, but she could also be dangerous to a man like you. Be polite, you remind yourself. If she doesn't want to talk, show respect. Place a hand on her table and put on your most sincere smile as you say loudly enough to catch her attention. You look like you have a lot on your mind. She looks up, her scowling lips draw into a firm line. She has large dark eyes. They rove over you, sizing me up, you think. Do you mind if I sit? You ask, motioning to the chair across from her, the one the soldier had been sitting in. She pauses, her eyes locked on yours in a way that makes a shiver run down your smile. She smiles back. It's a fake smile, but it is polite. She nods. You take a seat. I'm Dragon. Her eyebrows rise. You go by the name Dragon. Isn't that a bit aggrandizing? Yeah. What is she on about, you wonder? Very well, you can call me Red Dragon. That's not much different. Rooster is disrespectful. That's like self-deprecating. Warhorse then. Call me Warhorse then, you say. Her eyes narrow for a moment. You surely jest. Warhorse is an even more beautiful name than Dragon. What would you have me say? People call me this. They do not, she says, slapping the table. No one is called Horse. Certainly not. She motions at you, then pauses. She takes a deep breath. Just give me a name I can call you by, or take your business elsewhere. Well, since you will not accept the first name a man gives you, second, she says, interrupting you. That is the second name you have given. Not a good sign either. Well then, I'll try a third. You can call me Rooster, you say. I do believe the third shot strikes the mark. You are a rooster, cocky and full of nonsense. She laughs and shakes her head. She has nice and straight teeth. I'm Kriya, though I do not know why I'm giving you my name at all. Relax into your seat. What can I do for you, Rooster? She asks. You are okay. So Rooster is not that bad of a name apparently. Warhorse sounds pretty cool actually. You're impressed that she actually said your new name with a straight face. How do you answer her? You would tell her that you're new in the city and would like to talk to a local. Another option would be to flirt. She might be attractive with a light paint on the face and a proper dress. Or you could pass yourself as a mysterious, maybe make her guess. I don't think that's a good idea. Let's flirt with her. I don't know how that would work. Flirt. You, yes, you need to stop being so adorable. I'm a fool for a pretty face, you say. Yours appear troubled. Corner of her lip turns up. I hate to see a damsel in distress, and I thought perhaps I could distract you with a few words, you say. Her smile goes away. How very chivalrous of you. However, you are a stranger to me. I'm a stranger to everyone here. I'm new to your city. Would like to start by making at least one very good friend. You lean in and give her your most intense and you hope seductive look. Her eyebrows rise in mock. At least one, you say. How many very good friends would you prefer? What is your limit, or do you have one? You chuckle and put up your hand and surrender. I wager only one. The one I'm considering seems all I can handle, but I presume she's worth it. Her eyes narrow, but she's smiling. Mr. Rooster, do you make a lot of assumptions? It is a dangerous habit. She's not warming to your charm as you had hoped, but it is nice to see a woman smile after months in the company of a soldier in death. I beg your forgiveness. You bow and take a deep breath before staying tentatively. I'm hoping that you might be able to help me. How? She asks fearingly. By the way, as I said, I was wondering if they took ideas from Attack on Titan, because they also had the rings, multitudes of them, three of them I think. And what's with the bowing? I don't remember the first game ever had any bowing, like, oh, I respect you, bow. This is very Japanese or like Eastern behavior. That is unusual. I'm new to the city and I was hoping I could find a local to tell me a bit about my new home, you say. You're not just passing through then, she asks. No. I mean to stay a while, you say. At her expression, you ask, why do you look so surprised? I never have seen you before, she says, but your manner of speaking, your accent says you're from over the mountains. I have an accent? You say. She smiles. It is so slight that most people would not notice. I study people, you shrug. You'd rather not talk about where you're from. That could lead to other questions. To be honest, I don't even know anyone in the ring city, and I'm looking for an occupation, you say. She shakes her head. You don't look like the sort who would work in the mines, she says. I don't look strong enough, you ask. You appear healthy, and the gods have gifted you with some height and frame, but there are no calluses on your arms, she says. You don't make your coin with hard labor. I'd rather make it with my courage and my wits, you say. They call a ring city a place for adventure. She leans in. Really? Is that what you want? Is that what you are? An adventurer? You nod. Where are your weapons and armor? She asks. I sold it all to get here, you say. Kriya suddenly sits back in her chair. Her cloak opens slightly, and you catch a glimpse of what looks like fur on the large inner pocket. Stranger, I'm getting weary of lies. Noticing where your eyes have strayed, she closes her cloak. Lies, you say, doing your best to sound indignant. Half truths, perhaps. I cannot say. Let me be plain. I heard you may have a job for an adventurer, you say. She chants something in a slow, low voice and slaps the table sharply. What did you say? What was the language? You ask. What? Oh, she may be speaking in feral. Um, Kriya studies you for a moment and then says, I saw you like card games. How about we play a game? If you answer a question of mine truthfully, then I will answer one of yours. Very well, you say. He spits on a hand and holds it out to you. Ew, that's disgusting. What the fuck? You spit and shake back. Holy shit, I don't think even dudes would do this. This is fucking disgusting. Ew. You chant something else again in that low voice. Alright, she's using a spell. Alright, I will ask first. She says, what with a satisfied smile. I do not care about your real name, but if I'm to do business with a man, I want to know whom he is running from. I'm not running. Whom are you running from? Your thoughts stop and your words begin to spill out in a torrential whisper. My family is one of highly skilled gamblers and expert thieves. Oh, she definitely used this spell. My family is one of highly skilled gamblers and expert thieves. Almost a year ago, my father stole from the wrong man, a man with connections to House Rudahir. The house murdered my mother. They sold my father to Lord Wellington's army. When he fell in battle, they sold me into the army, and now I carry his debt. I am to pay 10 gold by sunset to each at each new moon. You pause as you fight your compulsion to speak. Gods, she has bewitched me, you think. She used a charm spell. Pain flashes through your mind, must finish. Lord Wellington cut wages for his soldiers, and there was no plunder to be had. I feared I would not be able to make my payments for long. When I don't, they promise the rack and torture a slow, miserable death, and that my sister will be sold to slavers. You pause again, fighting the enchantment, but you cannot. I deserted, I had no choice, so I am also running from Lord Wellington's bounty hunters. The fist around your mind loosens. Curse you, you hiss at her. You are a witch. You peer around the inn, afraid that your revelation will have ruined your chances to glean money. Thankfully, no one seems to be paying attention to you. And you are a thief and a renegade. Her voice has no malice. In fact, it sounds kind. But you won't be forced to comply as I was, will you? You say with a glare. But I will, she says quickly. That is the way of magic sometimes. It gives and it takes. She smiles. Now that I've answered your question, I will ask another. Really? What value would you what value would you bring to my adventuring party? You're still gaping in outrage when the words start streaming of their own accord. I'm a good scout. I can move quietly and unseen when it pleases me. I have modest skills at picking pockets and locks. I have been trained with a few weapons and understand battle tactics. Better that time, you think. At least you did not go on and on with your babbling. However, you're unhappy with your use of the term modest skill. Truth is often cruel. Kriya nods. Hoping to avoid spilling more uncomfortable secret, you straighten your cloak and say, it is time for me to go. But you get to ask me another question, she insists. But ask quickly, the spell lasts only so long. Well, she already pulled your most pressing secret out of you straight away. Perhaps now is the time to learn something from her. Several options come to your mind. Your first question could find out whether or not you can trust her. You certainly like to know if she's an evil witch. You're desperately curious to know whether she raised the dead, as Rohatia claimed. It might be more practical to ask what she brings to the adventure party. Is she a powerful wizard? Hmm. Well, I don't really mind if she's a necromancer. The thing is, she's not very subtle about it. Like, I can understand if someone's lying to you, but just like making them, forcibly speak what they are, going to be saying or what they're thinking. You can be a little more subtle about it. It's more fun that way. If you just force someone, it's just you come off of as a dick. Even in the magic world. Let's see. I rather do not ask her a question because she's gonna ask me something stupid. But let's ask her: has she raised the dead? Nah. Ask her if I can trust her. You're not sure how many truthful answers you will get with this spell, so you decide to go straight to what matters. If I adventure with you, can I trust you? Are you an evil witch? You ask. I will never betray anyone who conducts themselves honorably, she blurts out. The word honorably is a slippery word, you say, according to whose honor? Another question is my turn, and I will ask along the same lines. She says, again leaning forward, can I trust you? Yes, you say automatically, and the answer surprises you. So long as I trust you, then you are a friend to me, and I have never betrayed a friend. She stares at you for some time, then nods. My turn, you say. You give Kriya your most evil grin. Is it true that you have raised the dead? She scowls and hesitates. She bites her lip and then finally says in a whisper, yes, I've raised my familiar, a raven named Mighty Beak. A raven, not a cat? She laughs uncomfortably, shifting in her seat. I'm not surprised that that is what you heard. They think witch and then think cat. In any case, it did not work out. Once raised, he was nearly mindless and constantly hungry for flesh. Far worse than when he was alive. The poor thing could not even fly anymore. I destroyed it the same night. Her spells really does compel her to speak the truth, you think. Unless she's being clever. You know what? I'm gonna end it there. I've been recording for half an hour, I think now. So thank you so much for watching. There's a link in the description to my Twitter. You go follow me there. There's also a link to my Patreon where I'm playing Sakura Swim Club uncensored, and you can go check that out. And bye bye.